Testing, testing. Let me just check the audio real quick. The audio seems okay. Might even be better now. Let me just double check it real quick. That seems good. Alright, let me get right into it. So the idea for this stream was I bought a bunch of D&D miniatures recently. I bought 16 from the same eBay seller I always buy from. It's always the same shop for years. And I bought a bunch that I've been wanting. Just like a random assortment. Ordered them, they were coming in the mail, and I thought I should do a stream where I try to come up with an adventure using only these miniatures. Kind of test my creativity a little bit. So that's what we're doing. The pictures on the thumbnail and what you see now are just some examples of what we're going to be dealing with. So thinking about all the models I bought, I immediately went to the Underdark, which is underground caverns, but way underground. There's like whole communities and societies, populaces of people. So we're going with the Underdark for our setting. Let me cut to what setup we got. If Streamlabs will let me. There we go. Hopefully the camera's not too bad. We'll see. Alright, so first I'll show all the miniatures, and then we'll kind of go through. I've been thinking about it for a few days. We have, and let me make sure this shows up well on camera, a bronze dragon. We can't have D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, without dragons. We got the dungeon right there. We got the dragon. So this is a bronze dragon. I'll give a little description of, like, it's a dragon. It's a metallic dragon, meaning they're usually on the good side when it comes to alignment. Gold, silver, bronze, brass, and copper are the metallic dragon colors. And bronze dragons usually shoot lightning breath. Not fire breath, but lightning breath. On the other side of things, we have a green dragon. Part of the chromatic colored dragons. So you're red, white, black, blue, and green. And the green dragons usually have a like poison gas breath. I guess we'll go from like size. So this is a miniature I've wanted for a very long time. It was on the thumbnail. So are those dragons. We have a flail snail. It's a snail, but it's not actually like a beast, like an animal. It's like an aberration or a monster. So if you were a druid, you can't turn into this. It's not a beast. But look at those flails, like tentacles with flail appendages you can just smack people with. They're usually hunted for their shell because it can be used to make like anti-magic armor and shields. So very sought after. We have an Afridi. This is essentially a fire genie from the elemental plane of fire. Her sword has like a trail of flames. Super cool. This is like one of my favorite monsters ever. I have a bunch of them. It's called a boulette. I should be showing the bottoms, but whatever. Boulette. I don't have one in this like color. This one is really nice. I love this blue armor. So they're basically armored land sharks. They dive underground, they come up, they leap on people, and they bite and do a ton of damage. And they're very hard to actually hurt. Then we got some creepy crawlies. We have a giant centipede. This is a carrion crawler. They have like tendrils on their mouth. They can paralyze you. And they have spider climb, meaning they can climb on walls and be just fine, just like actual centipedes. I hate centipedes so much. And then we have a Grick. I think this is a Grick Alpha. Let me see. So it's basically just a normal Grick, but they're a little stronger. Oh, it actually looks pretty good on the camera. I hope it's been catching them all like this. So his tendrils can kind of grab you, and then the beak bites you. And they are good at camouflaging with stone. So in the Underdark, all this stone, they have advantage. They have a really good chance of blending in with rock. And for the smaller ones, this is a Firbolg, Firbolg. Let's see if it'll even show up. Firbolg Archdruid. What's up, Nonsense? How you doing, bro? So these guys are like giant kin compared to... Here's a human archer. They are super big. I think you're in the wrong place, Nonsense. I don't know if they're playing D&D. We have a dwarf. She could be a fighter, a cleric, a paladin, an armored barbarian. And then I kind of spoiled this one in a community post hyping this up. But we have a Bullywog, and he is exactly what he looks like. He is a frog knight. They can jump really high, they can jump really far. And because he has like a spear, I think of him as like the dragoons from Final Fantasy. He could jump high and then come down with the spear. I actually want to play as one of these. That would be so much fun. Sir Kermit over here. And then we have... I'll do this with those. These are called Azers or Azirs. A-Z-E-R. Azer Sentinel. They look like dwarves, except their bodies are made of like, I guess, bronze or something. And their hair and their facial hair are fire. They're an elemental creature. They're not actually a dwarf. They're just dwarf shaped and they look like them. And then here we have another dwarf. He is a Duergar. Duergar? Duergar. Duergar. People say it a lot of different ways. They're just dark dwarves. They live in the Underdark. They're as nasty as dwarves can possibly be. Although these ones can go invisible and they can enlarge themselves and become a size bigger. And then along with underground dwarves, we have underground elves, also known as drow. We've got some kind of wizard or a sorcerer, maybe a warlock. His wand, let me see if I can go against my hand. It's like a scarab or maybe a spider. We're going to say spider since drow worship Lolth, who is like a giant spider deity, goddess, god. And then we have two more drow to accompany him. We have this one with a dagger and a sword. Some really cool armor. And this one's called a Drow Assassin. She's got a nice green cloak, two daggers. So those are all 16 miniatures. And using just them, the ones that I got all in the same order, gonna come up with an adventure. I already have ideas since I've had them for a few days. So let me take them all away and then we'll make a story. Next time I order more, I'm gonna do this again because it's fun. These weren't picked to make an adventure. These were picked because they were ones I've been looking at for a while. And I thought, hey, let's make a story using them, an adventure that next time I run D&D, maybe I'll have my players play through this adventure we're making right now. And all this terrain, the stalagmites and stuff, are all stuff that I made years ago. Alright, so when I was looking through these, I mean, immediately the dragons are the first, thing. They're iconic, they're dragons, everybody likes dragons, come on. So what I was thinking is, we have a metallic dragon, which is usually good alignment, and we have a chromatic dragon, which is normally evil. They wouldn't get along. So I like to think they are rivals. They hate each other's guts for whatever reason. They have history. And for some reason, I'm trying to think, is it due to magic or is it due to the way dragons do things? They can't attack each other. As much as they hate each other, they cannot harm one another. But the green dragon, being all schemy and evil, has tried putting hits out on the bronze dragon before. This one will gather allies, hire them, and try to get them to kill the bronze dragon for him, since he can't fight it. So the bronze dragon, in return, is hiring champions, allies, to protect himself and maybe go after this green dragon, because he's sick of this shit. So that'll be our main focus. We'll do that, and we'll do that. So that's the big story there. So we'll say that by the way, this stream is not going to be super long because I'm doing it on my phone. I don't want it to overheat. My other camera is broken, doesn't work, and it looked like crap when it did work, so I'm not bothering. So the 3 drow, we'll say they live in the Underdark. And we'll say the mage is kind of the leader, and he hired these 2 as his bodyguards. And the green dragon kind of rules over them. They answer to the green dragon. And then on the other side, so I was going to use these 3 as the players in this story. But then I figured, nah, let's make them actual characters and have a purpose. So we'll get to them. But we're assuming that this would be for players. I don't know, I have this orc ranger with a bow. We'll say he's part of the players group. So the players are separate from all of this. Just to give you an idea. So, what I noticed about the dwarf and the human archer is that their armor has a little bit of gold, a little bit of green, a little bit of blue, but it looks mostly like bronze colored armor. So these 2 could be champions of the bronze dragon. So maybe they were hired before the players. They came down here. Maybe they got lost. Maybe they never got to the green dragon, but they're down here. So that's a whole interaction the party can have. The players. They can come down here and find them, maybe make them allies in the final fight. But that would take some, We'll say the dwarf is really stubborn and doesn't want their help or doesn't trust the players. Maybe the players don't trust these 2. So there will have to be some role play, but potential allies, potential fight with them. It's hard to say. So we'll put them over here. And let me see on the camera. Hopefully it looks good. It looks okay here. And then we have our frog, Sir Kermit, as it were. And I like the idea of him being actually like a prisoner. Maybe the green dragon finds him amusing, keeps him alive. But he's a prisoner of the dragon and the drow. So maybe he'll escape and the players can find him, or maybe if they set him free, he can help them in the final fight, whatever. Now for these bigger creatures, we have a carrion crawler, we have the Grick, and the Boulette. As far as like how difficult they are, the Boulette is easily the toughest opponent here. So we'll say that maybe he guards the entrance to the drows, like that little cave might lead to their city, their encampment, wherever they live. And he might be here just protecting it. While these two creatures might be, when the players first get into the Underdark, they'll be like earlier fights, because they're not that threatening. Especially if there's like 3 or more players. They'll just beat the crap out of these things. Both of these creatures will kind of ambush them, try to drag one of them off, the weakest, smallest one, to eat later. But they have different ways of sneaking up and abducting. And then for our very colorful flail snail, y'all don't know how much I wanted this mini for the longest time. I bought kind of the same size, just like a snail toy to modify, to put tentacles on its head. Now I just have 2 giant snail toys and this. But again, they are sought after. A lot of, if anybody in the D&D world saw one of these things, they know that they're slow. If you're up close, they're going to beat the crap out of you with these. They're slow, they can blind you with a light from their shell, and they can go inside their shell and like withdraw if they're in danger. But a lot of people want this shell because, again, it has anti-magic properties. People would take the shell and bring it to a blacksmith or an enchanter. Anti-magic armor and shields, all kinds of stuff. So, being down here, maybe this Firbolg druid, who is an animal lover, it's not really a snail, but it looks like a snail, so maybe he wants to protect it from those people that would just kill it for its parts. So that's another encounter that could end in a social encounter, or they'll just fight. The players might say, nope, we just want that snail's shell, we don't care. Maybe the Firbolg will speak against them, fight against them. Or if they come into an agreement and they won't attack the snail anymore, maybe the Firbolg will help them in their journey. Who knows? It's just another thing where the players get to kind of decide what to do. And then, wow, we're going to be done pretty early. This was not meant to be long at all, so that's fine. I don't want to be streaming on my phone for too long. The last part is the last thing I thought of, and I thought of this last night. We have our little dark dwarf, Dorgar, who would not want to work with the drow, because in any fantasy setting, the elves and the dwarves do not get along. So he wouldn't be working for no stinking elves. What I think we'll do is we'll have him be by himself. Maybe he's being attacked by one of these creatures. One of these 3. And the players help him, and again, he's a Durgar. They're not going to trust him, and they shouldn't. Because they're basically just evil dwarves. But they might want him to be a guide, because he does live in the Underdark. And he doesn't like drow, so they might be able to use that to have him fight for them temporarily. However, this Durgar is using some sort of illusion magic. Maybe he has a ring of illusion where he can change his appearance. He's not really a Durgar. He's an Azur. He's an elemental creature that looks like a dwarf. And he's deceiving the players, pretending he's a Durgar. Because this Azur is down here to open up a rift from the elemental plane of fire so that his master, this Afridi, this fire genie, can come through and wreak havoc however she sees fit. And I really like that, actually. As a Durgar, he will convince the players they got to go to a certain spot and do a certain something to increase their chances of success down here. But in fact, he's trying to get his master into the material plane. So it's a nice deceiving. And that'll be a side thing from like the dragons. I think that's a lot of fun. That kind of covers everything. I have to figure out what is that frogman doing down here. That's the one thing that's been in my head. Obviously, I would come up with like names for the characters and stuff and really flesh out everything, but this is just a basic idea of an adventure in the Underdark with these miniatures that I got in the same order recently. So anybody that sees this in the future, if you made it this far, thank you very much. I'm going to try to do more on this channel going forward. I'm going to try to get an actual like group to play and stream it. I think that would be awesome. But I've got plenty of other ideas until we make that happen. So I guess if you made it this far, again, thank you, and let me know what your favorite miniature was, aside from Mr. Sir Kermit over there, because that's everybody's favorite. Me personally, it's tough. I've wanted these three for a very long time. So it's probably one of those. I'm excited of this idea of this Durgar being an Azur trying to get his master into the material plane. Next time I run D&D, I might want to just use this adventure. But anyway, that's all I wanted to get out today. I don't want to stream for super long because, again, my phone will overheat. But thank you, anybody who came through. Nonsense, thank you. And anybody else who watches it. Appreciate it. And let me know if the video quality was alright. It looks pretty good on my end. I'm going to have to rewatch it to see. Alright, we're going to end it here. And I will try to be more active on this channel going forward. So thank you again. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out. Bye.